It's OK Football's Luton Town Show. I'm Ollie K. I'm here in the world-famous Bricklayers Arms in the heart of Hightown. And with me, I got my co-host. I got Wedge.
Hello.
I got Phil.
Hi, guys.
And we're going to be discussing everything that's been going on around Luton Town. And, wow, there's a win to discuss. A rare win. Well, although I say
Just
rare.
a win as well. No losses to talk about. I mean,
Yeah. Single game week and a win.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, well, there's a lot to talk about because we're actually not going to be here next week because Luton are playing on Sunday, and we famously record this on Sundays, so everyone knows where to find me to tell me what they think of me. But there's a lot going on around Luton Town, and there's division in the fan base. We'll talk about it, but I guess we should dive right in, shouldn't we?
Yeah,
let's do it.
Yeah, it's our new segment. I heard it through Rowan's grapevine. I heard it through Rowan's grapevine. Shamona. So let's kick this off with some rare good news, actually. The detailed plans for Power Court have been approved. I don't know if you guys were watching the council meetings. There was some very dry political debate and stuff, and they raised a lot of things. Gary got up and stood. Michael Moran, like the head of 2020 developments, got up and stood. But all in all, good news. Good news.
Very good news, isn't it? I mean, we're kind of at this stage. It seemed 5 years ago, didn't it? I was watching the live stream when they first approved it, and then eventually it's now got to another stage of being approved.
Well, it's the detailed plan. So that one in 2020 was that January 2020.
2020.
Yeah, that was just after Nathan Jones left as well, and that was a massive week for the club. So there was approval for the planning permission for Newlands Park and the planning permission for a stadium to be an outline proposal for a stadium to be built in Power Court. So it's pretty massive, and this is like a significant step. And we're going to see, according to Gary Sweet's program notes, spades in the ground in the next 6 months, and it will get built really quickly. Like if you've seen the thing at Newlands Park that's getting built, that's gone up muy rápido.
It's one of those ones where, like what Wedge just said about when that original decision came in, I remember, and I'm not too shy to admit it, I remember crying at that. I was so pleased for the club, just sitting there, just kind of just like with a tear in my eye. I'm a big softie. But this week it's been obviously sort of more, it's more of a relief that it's sort of continued the progression of it, and it's sort of come into fruition. But the sad thing is when I was reading about the reality of how many games we've got left there. Like even in the worst case scenario, he's sort of saying about it's going to be about 3 seasons time, which equates to sort of around about 60 games or so. And you kind of think that routine that we've all lived with for years and years and years, like we're of a certain age, we're in our sort of mid to late 30s, but there's people that have been going for their whole lives, and they're in the 70s, 80s, even 90s. That routine is sort of going to draw to an end. It's going to be really, really sad, but ultimately I think we all know it's something that's got to happen for the town, for the club, for the sustainability of the area as well. And I'm unbelievably proud that we're going to do it, and I'm so pleased that we've got like good plans. You know, when often you speak to someone else that doesn't support Luton, and they sort of say, oh yeah, Luton's a dump, this, that or the other, and you kind of go, yeah, but it's my dump and I love it, and if you actually go, you'll appreciate it and you'll fall in love with it immediately. But people are looking at the plans going, oh, that's quite decent actually. And it's going to be a really weird change up for us as season ticket holders. It can go over a week where people are going to go, that's a nice little stadium. You kind of
it's almost going to be too nice.
It looks beautiful.
Yeah,
it looks so nice every time I look at it. I fall in love with it a little bit more.
Yeah.
But it's strange when you talk about oppositions. When we're in the Premier League, everyone was slagging off their way, and now people can't seem to get away from the nostalgia of it, and it's like, we're going to miss that when it goes. And but like I say, the routine and like the people you sit with and things like that is.
I hope there's something in place to like be able to sit with the people that you sit with now, because it's going to be one hell of an undertaking getting everyone to Power Court and keeping everyone happy. I don't want to sit with new people.
in the name of
the
keeping
the people next to me, they tolerate me.
But I think in the name of keeping the atmosphere, like when Kenilworth Road is hot, when it's buzzing, it's just unbelievable. It literally makes your spine tingle with like how good it is. So we need to make sure that those people that are sat together that do sort of stereotypically make a lot of the noise, we need to keep them together as a first thing. Hope that the acoustics and everything like that do the place justice. And you're right, I'm sure that there'll be a plan to try and make sure that you've got the option to sort of stick with your crew, your match day crew, so to speak. I think that'd be good. I don't know how it's going to happen, but I think that surely, let's be honest, like they're not going to just go at it willy-nilly. There are plenty of other clubs that have gone from stadium to stadium, and we can either learn from their mistakes or learn from their good practice as to how they've done that and how they've tried to sort of keep people together. Because you look at it, places like the Emirates for Arsenal, like that's taken 10 years for them to get the atmosphere back. And I know that it comes with the results side of things as well. And Luton at the moment is not loud. We know that, but it's taken them 10 years to find their voice again. We don't want that to happen. We need to make sure that atmosphere continues on through.
The reality is it's about what happens on the pitch, and the fans reflect entirely what's going on the pitch. So I've got some numbers here from courtesy of Luton Facts and Figures 2024 in numbers. So top scorers in the year 2024. It hasn't been a vintage year by any stretch. So top scorer, 14 goals, Colton Morris. This is the whole of 2024. 10 goals for Elijah Adebayo, 6 for Jordan Clark and Tahith Chong, 4 for Chidozie Ogbene, 3 for Jacob Brown and Ross Barkley, 2 for Luke Berry and Corley Woodrow. Those are the top scorers.
Okay.
Like,
Kind of what you expect there, isn't it? With Morris, penalty taker, and
Adebayo behind him.
Adebayo.
Yeah, but keeping in mind we played 22 games in the Championship now this season, you'd expect those numbers to be a little bit more inflated.
We just spread them around, Ollie. Loads of people have got 2 or less.
Well, I've got all the 2s here. So
how many own goals are in that as well? But Elijah was out for a large portion of 2024, wasn't he? So I think had he not been injured, his numbers would have been a lot higher, and we may well be talking about us being in a different division. You never know.
And ultimately, it was the back end of the Premier League season which we suffered, and that was in 2024. That was when
it strong.
We started the Premier League season strong, and we were being spoken of around Christmas time as genuinely able to stay up, but depleted squad and everything like that. And then we had some really tough fixtures. I mean, you look at our away fixtures in the back end of that Premier League season, it was pretty ghastly. We had both the North London clubs, we had Man City, we had a tough trip over to West Ham,
Newcastle.
There were some difficult games. So it's not surprising to me that we've not got sort of like massive numbers, but I agree with what you're saying about the Championship. That's the bigger concern, and we know that we've spoken on it on this show a number of times that it's tough because a lot of our goals come through set pieces. I
think like 90% of them.
Well, exactly.
Perfect segue to talk about Derby, because both of those goals were from set pieces, both delivered by Corley Woodrow. Funny enough, he does whip in a good ball. But
I think our set pieces have been pretty decent.
They have, because they're the only way we score.
Yeah,
they've had to be.
I think we all had a bit of doubt when Alfie Doughty went down injured. Prime set piece taker, but I think Jordan Clark's deliveries have been pretty much on the money.
Baptiste when he's done it as well.
Yeah.
Liam Walsh when he's on the pitch.
For how long?
About 5 minutes.
Yeah. Do we get a set piece?
He's taken some
all the
set
other
pieces.
all the other teams get the set pieces when Liam Walsh is on the pitch.
I think you're right. Set pieces are ultimately our biggest weapon, and I actually like the fact that we've gone. With Doughty's absence, it's made you realise that we do have a few people that have got a right foot that can whip a ball in. Yeah. I think that sometimes there's an over-reliance on Doughty takes everything.
It's very Sunday League, isn't it? Like the manager has a favourite in Sunday League, and then that person takes all the set pieces.
I mean, he has got a wonderful left foot, but it's nice to mix it up. Like it's nice to think that we can do in swingers, out swingers. We've got options. Like I think that I know he's been injured again recently, but there was a couple of games where Baptiste was taking him, and he whips in a wonderful cross. And we saw that earlier on in the season with a couple of assists, and he can do it as a set piece as well. So yeah, it's positive that we've got those options. It's positive that we can make things of those good quality balls that are going in. And ultimately, like you said, going back to the Derby game, we've got 3 points.
Yeah.
You talk about that spine-tingling noise.
Yeah.
I mean, that was there when that Carlton Morris deflected goal went in, wasn't it? It was
they're both
out of
deflected
relation.
to some degree. They were both deflected. I want to talk about the Pelly goal.
There's a couple
I'm calling it the Pelly goal.
Not the Holmes goal.
There's a
Pushkas winner, Tom Holmes.
there was a couple of really important arses on Friday night.
Yeah.
First one being Tom Holmes' arse.
The arse of Luton past and present.
The ghost of Luton's arse. But yeah, so there was Tom Holmes one, and then obviously there was James Collins' arse that got in the way that helped lead to the Morris goal. So
thank you, Colo.
Thanks, Colo.
The defending was atrocious for that second goal because they were trying to clear it. He cleared it straight into James Collins. Like, he didn't even look up. He just was hacking it away. He hacked it straight into Colo, which is hilarious.
That's probably a bit of an example about where Derby were at with their away form. You know, when and for the whole game they'd have been thinking, finally the tides have turned, but then. And again, another arse. They got bit in the arse right at the back end of it. So yeah, it was a great feeling to have us turn it around and get 3 points at home, because we've said it before. I said it in the opposition preview midweek. Like, what we don't want is for there to become too much pressure on the home form, because it will start if we start losing games at home and we know how bad our form is away from home. That's a really, really sort of toxic potential situation. So we need to make sure that we're keeping on getting points at home to sort of alleviate that stress as we sort of claw towards 50 points first and foremost.
Well, we avoided the toxicity.
Yeah.
I was fighting the urge there to break into System of a Down. We avoided the toxicity of the city. I won't do it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. No one wants to hear my voice. So Pelly came on. That was appearance 409 for Pelly Ruddock. One more brings him in line with, Great Britain Olympic winner and Luton Town player Bob Hawkes, which is a tremendous run from Pelly Ruddock. And thoughts on Pelly? What legends.
I mean, firstly, the game. I mean, I don't think anyone else who was on the field, if that fell to Pelly on the volley, they'd be taking that shot on.
They would have been recirculating the ball,
exactly, and I think that's what you get with Pelly. I know he's quite divisive with how people think what he brings to the team and things like that, but I think when he came on, you know that when he's got the ball, he's difficult to get the ball off. He's strong, and he's got the confidence to take on a shot like he did for the equaliser. So I think Pelly needs to receive some credit there.
Yeah.
Just for his career with us, you know.
Oh yeah, absolute legend of the club. Literally no one's done that. So to go from conference all the way up to Prem. So yeah, absolute massive props to him. And you're right, that Pelly does stuff slightly different. And whether that's been the reason why he's been struggling to get in the team, I don't know. But I think that the biggest criticism I would say of Pelly, and I don't want to go down the critical sort of line, but he sometimes gets caught out doing what he perceives to be the right thing, but it getting caught out. So he plays a lot of horizontal passes that when he's trying to bring in the right or left backs in, if they get cut out, you kind of go big glaring error in the middle of the park, you know. So it kind of makes him an easy target. But generally speaking, I'm happy. I'll be happy for him to be in the starting lineup at the minute. I've got no issues with him being in the starting lineup at all.
I don't think it works in a 2. You got to adapt it to a 3. Talking about 3, we didn't even mention Eric Peters signing for Luton Town. That sort of rattled the fan base slightly. I guess in terms of meat in the room, bodies in the squad, if it's short term and he's gone by the end of Jan, that's fine.
Yeah, isn't it not just a prudent bit of business whilst we're struggling for players to do something short term?
It's just having someone there.
He knows the club as well, because I know that he's not like knows it, but he was with us in the summer. Yeah. Like, he played a couple of friendly for us. It's not like he's a stranger and he's coming in and doing us a favour. Like, I don't see really what the problems are. I know that there's like the ambition of doing something a bit more, but we're in December. He's a free agent. Like, we can get who we can get. You know, like,
if it gets us over the line to January, where we can get some other numbers in, like Christ Makoso or whatever his name is. I hear he's not so good with crosses though.
All right. Oh. Ollie.
I did that one on the concourse as well, pre-game as well, when we were talking about Christ Makoso.
I must have forgotten that one.
Yeah, I know. It's one of those jokes that you forget like about 2 seconds after.
And this is why we don't have the joke in here anymore.
Yeah, I just think it's a prudent bit of business, and if he plays well, if he gets minutes and he plays well over the next sort of 3-4 games over the Christmas period, and he does well for us, then why not extend it to the end of the year? It's a win-win situation. I just don't see the issue with it.
It takes up a squad place, and Rob Edwards has been open about saying some people will be moving on. I don't even know who would be moving on. Like, Pelly potentially could have been one of those because he wasn't getting anywhere near the squad. I'm not going to say we're going to riot.
You'd say the same with Woodrow, wouldn't you?
When we were watching the game and he brought Pelly and Woodrow and Taylor all on.
You think that was the curse?
Are we thinking, is this the last time we're seeing them play at Kenilworth Road?
Could be.
You know, I know we're at home on New Year's Day, but, you know, it was almost...
Yeah.
This is... this is the curtain call on these players. You know,
3 people that are being frozen out, and at the same time they were the ones that sort of turned around the game. Like Joe Taylor, yes, he didn't have as much involvement as Cauley Woodrow and Pelly in the turnaround, but at the same time he was a nuisance, and he was aware enough to sort of get out of the way of Carlton Morris as he was about to pull the trigger.
He also didn't he win the free kick for the goal?
Did he?
I think it was
it
Nelson.
It was a
Nelson,
loose ball, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Taylor picked up and got took out.
Yeah.
So it's just having.
Yeah, there you go. They all contributed.
He wins the foul.
But I like how he contributed by getting out of the way. That's it. Get on the pitch, but don't get in the way.
Well, you know, some people would have kept their run going because he was running. Although, like, 3 players were pretty much offside because the way the ball came off.
Came off
Colo, yeah.
Played him on side.
And then Luton released the slow-mo and you just see the ball going back towards their goal. It's Elijah, Taylor and Morris all standing. Like, good thing it wasn't us that picked up the ball and sent it back, because then they all would have been offside. But hey, I guess things work out. We needed a Christmas miracle.
Yeah, we did. We
haven't really spoken much about the game. I mean, it wasn't a good game.
Friday night under the lights, Sky TV. You're saying it wasn't good? Sky not regretting it?
But when you kind of look at the game as a whole, I mean, probably a draw, but Derby offered nothing. Again, a poor away team. The first half, they created nothing. We created more. And, you know, if we'd have gone in 1-0 up, I don't think it would have been against the run of play at all. And then you get to the 55-minute, 60-minute mark, and that's when we seem to run out of steam again. And they got their goal.
Gave us a bit of a kick up the backside for a good 10-15 minutes. But you're right. I mean, there was the Morris header in the first half. That was
Elijah had a header as well.
Elijah had a header.
I thought that was him.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I thought both of them were in. To be honest with you, it was close. It's a game of fine margins, isn't it?
I mean, we were getting balls in the box. Chongi had that delivery. I mean, he run their left back ragged.
I thought he was very good in the first half, attacking. In particular.
And he whipped that ball in, which went just past the post. So I know people were getting irate about, you know, not scoring and just another poor performance in their eyes. But I think you look at our form, and this is what we got to kind of expect, these kind of performances, and we are beating the teams around us at home that we need to.
Yeah.
And we've still got, you look at Plymouth, I know we lost to them away, but we've got them at home, you know, we've got Portsmouth to come at home. Keep picking up these points at home.
Yeah.
I think we'll be all right.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. We will be all right. It is a case of writing this season off, beating relegation, not even getting sucked into the relegation battle, just going for mid-table mediocrity, and then we go again next year. And I guess that brings me on to Rob Edwards, really, because after calling for his heads, the time for him to go would have been after that Middlesbrough game, where pretty much everyone, including Simon Oxley, everyone were thinking, that's him done. He's done. He's pretty much virtually, he's either going to resign or the board are going to get rid of him. I've told people privately, I have no insight to this. This is all speculation, but I was listening to the Price of Football podcast. I have friends of the podcast, Kieran Maguire, who's been on. He'll probably come on again in the off season. And he was talking about Man United and David Moyes. So David Moyes signed a 6-year contract at Luton. No.
Did he? I missed those years.
No, David Moyes. It's that 6.5% B you're giving me, Lance. The facade, the pro facade's gone. David Moyes signed a 6-year contract to Man United, and there was a KPI in there, key performance indicator, that said if Man United don't make the Champions League, they can sack him and not pay off his contract. So, and that came at the end of the year. So the day after Man United mathematically were unable to get into the top 4, David Moyes was gone.
Right.
So that gets me thinking, there's no point calling for Rob Edwards to go, because if he's to go now, they got to pay off the whole contract. Mm-hmm. However, if he is to go at the end of the season, there will be some KPI in there, like when we mathematically can't make the playoffs. Yes. I'm just saying this is complete speculation. I'm just trying to think commercially about this. That the board are betting big on the fact that we're not going to get relegated. Mm-hmm. And it changes from week to week how I feel if we're battling relegation. This week, because we've come off a win, I don't feel like we're going to get relegated. Last week,
we're 7 points off relegation. I know they've got a game in hand.
Yeah, that can change.
They're still roughly safe in a way, because we've got games where we can afford to lose. Don't want to, but
the home form could suffer when the likes of Leeds, Borough, I've said it before, the big swinging dicks arrive at Luton and just whip you around a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the worry that I've always got is that we are just wavy at the minute. And when I say wavy, I mean we're sort of like we're happy after a win, and purely happy about a win. By the way,
you got to enjoy the wins when they happen.
And the elation of a last minute winner in the last 2 home games goes a long way, right? But the problem is then it comes crashing down because we know that this week we've got 2 away games in a week. So it's going to be a double dip of depression, So that's what makes it really, really difficult for me to sort of, we can't seem to build up a head of steam about actually getting some confidence and getting something going. So like I say, talk about football all the time to anyone that will listen, really, and they sort of go, oh, how are they going to do? And you come off the back of a home win, you go, oh yeah, we're winning at home, we're not playing very well, but it's 3 points, just crawl towards 50 points, we'll be fine. But then you talk to me after our away games, I go, oh, I literally have no words other than a growl in me.
That's football for you. Yeah, that's football for you. Oh, okay. So let's talk about Rob Edwards and his open for interpretation statement after the match, where after the win, and thank God it's not the same "it's on me" claptrap. He said 10,000 managers in the stands and they would all be doing it differently. How did you guys interpret that? Interested, because people have been interpreting it slightly differently.
Yeah. Do you want me to go first? Do you want
to
go
first?
I thought you might. I thought you might say that. I don't have a problem with it. This personally, I think that when you think about football and you think about how it is one of those things where everyone does think that they're a manager in the stands. Everyone has their own opinion of
you sit next to John Piper, don't you?
I do sit close to John, yeah. I do sit close to John. And it's one of those things where you do, like, you've got your mates around you, and you're kind of going, oh, I wonder if he'll make this sub. And you know what it's like, you sort of say, oh, he's going to bring on this person around this time and he'll change the shape. And you think, I'm a miracle worker. I should be the manager of this place. So he's right in the fact that we all do think that we know better. I would wager that not many people go along and just go, entertain me and just sit there and just watch it all happen. Everyone that goes there does have an opinion, so I don't see a problem in it. I can understand that some people might think that there's an element of saltiness to it, because no one's singing Rob Edwards' name anymore, and he's probably feeling a little bit hurt about it. But personally, taken in isolation, I don't have a problem with it personally.
Yeah, it is. People interpret things which way you want, and that's kind of just how people's minds are. Personally, I think he's made these changes. The
changes did affect the game.
Exactly, he's made the changes. They made a positive effect, and he's probably still won't get credit from all the fans for making those changes. I mean, I didn't see him bringing Pelly on. I didn't think so. He's taken quite a gamble, and it's paid off. Mm-hmm. But not everyone would have made the same changes. So it is just a case of. But at the end of the day, he is the manager. His choices affect what's on the pitch, and this time they came out on the right side of things, and we managed to get a win. So I don't have a problem with what he said. He's probably just saying it out of relief as well from getting the win.
What do you think, Ollie?
So the only problem I had with it was in context of the full quote. We are not exactly playing how we want to. It's not exactly how we want it to be atmosphere-wise, but we found a way. So we're not playing exactly how we want to. Whose job is that?
Yeah, but it's playing with what you've got available.
Yeah, we got no style. 90% of these players are playing in the Premier League last season, and looking all right for large amounts of the season. Publicly, people know I'm not one to back Rob Edwards, but you know what? I still go to every home game. Mm-hmm. I still sing. I'm right next to Block F. I still make noise. I pay my money. I don't sit there wanting to be entertained, but at the same time, I support the team.
Yeah.
I just want to see the players give a shit. Really, ultimately, at the end of the day, and players, managers, even owners. Like, look, in the context, our owners are Luton Town fans, but let's not kid ourselves. They're all in their late 60s, 70s. They will eventually sell. Even custodians of the clubs, they are all temporary. The only permanent thing in football are the fans. Managers go, players go. We care, and at the end of the day, like Rob might say, it's just a job, but it's not just a job. He's a fan of the club, but yeah, I'll back him until the end of the season now because I know he's not going anywhere.
Yeah. And I think we're all starting to kind of rearrange our expectations. I think a lot of people were hoping we'd be bouncing straight back.
Oh God, no one was thinking we'd. I mean, other than the board and Rob Edwards, no one thought we were bouncing straight back. And I certainly didn't.
I was thinking, mid-table, maybe a playoff push.
I was thinking playoffs all day long.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Are you sure you're not on the 6.5%?
Yeah. At the start of the season, before a ball was kicked, I thought that we were going to be all right. I thought that obviously it was a huge loss with the losses that we suffered in terms of outgoing business, but I thought that we'd still have enough Championship quality as well as the Premier League quality that we'd inherited to be playoff pushing. And I think that if you speak to most of the fans that don't support Luton, they would also put us up there in terms of the playoff contention. But you're right, we've had to rearrange our expectations, 100%.
Yeah. And, Rob said we were going to play exciting football before ball was kicked, and that hasn't happened. So we need to kind of realise where we are and come around to that. And I think Rob is starting to do that by saying we're not playing how he wants to. I don't think we can't disagree with we're not playing how we would want them to either. But you take what you've got.
But you want them to play with some sort of style, like... Not just score goals with sweaty set pieces, second and third phases.
Yeah, it's difficult because he's saying that we're not playing the way that he wants to, and I think that in terms of like the human resources available, like what we've actually got to play with, I think that he's tried to go back to basics. We've seen various different versions different formations where it seems like it's very much back to basics and trying, like we mentioned before, about going all the way back after international break, when we sort of sat in 2 banks of 4 and a 2 up top and things like that. But ultimately our expectations were set high at the start of the season by the board, by the managers, and management, and it's not come to fruition. So we are all in a situation where we're going to the games at the minute kind of going, I know I'm not going to be really entertained. Not really. We know we're in for a battle.
And it's a labour of love at the moment.
It is. It's really difficult. Luton. It's really difficult, and you can feel the vibe in the whole place because no one's expecting us to play well because we aren't playing particularly well. But what I will say is that we do need to be positive because we are still winning at home. And however it's happening, the point is you're right. Like we've just spoken about the future of the club and the new stadium. We need to stay at championship level at the very, very least. So if we can get over the line, get survival this year, and then take stock. I mean, the guys they're talking. Rob was saying about there's going to be some ingoings and outgoings in January. We've got Fan coming in.
Fanny?
I don't know whether it's Fan or Fanny. I don't know how to say
Fanny
it.
coming in.
What's his first name?
I aired on the side of caution.
Lamin's coming.
Lamin Fanny Darbo.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we've got him coming in. We've been linked to other defenders, and we've got to have something to sort of turn the tide because we can't keep on going away and getting battered and then having to come back and put that pressure on the home stuff.
You just hope these comments from both the board and from Rob about, we've got eyes on things have developed aren't just words to keep us sweet. And
you hope it comes to fruition.
They need to make these signings and not kind of, it's almost as if they're trying to keep us on side by saying these early.
Yeah.
But again, normally if we got to do them early because we need to get these players into the squad and integrated, and we can't be leaving it till the end. So it seems like a positive step. We'll see how it comes.
See. Yeah, we'll see. Good thing we're not doing this next week, so we can. Our next pod will be after the window's open, and hopefully there'll be like 10 new signings by then.
It's like
3 games to talk about, won't we?
Yeah. Yeah,
3 wins.
We don't. At least we don't talk about them too in depth. It's more of a generalised Luton chat. But I think we should cheer this. We'll lift this mood now. You guys ready?
We got 3 points against Derby. There's no lack of cheer here.
It's time to spin the wheel, though. It's OK Football's Wheel of Games. It's time for the wheel. Wheel of games, wheel of games, wheel of games, wheel of games.
Okay, guys, let's spin the wheel.
Is that player cycle? I have no idea. There's player cycle, last letter, or that could be spin again. Is there another spin again? No, that's player cycle. Yeah, here we go. Right. Uh-oh. Play along at home. The last letter for first letter. So someone mentions a player, for instance.
Lamin Fan.
E. Fanny. And then the next person has 3 seconds to name a player whose name starts with that letter. So
I was at a Taskmaster thing last weekend. This came up. Not about Luton players.
Oh, no, of course
just
not.
Generically.
Yeah.
It went terribly.
Of course, yeah. So this actually happened on the first recorded pod that we did, and it went really badly.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
There's so many different players that end in Y, and that's the problem. Who starts with Y other than Yasser Kassim?
Yeah, it's pretty much Yasser Kassim. Okay, so should we kick this off with Liam Walsh?
Harry Cornick.
Well done. Well, that was quick.
K. Yeah, that is. Keith Keane.
2 Ks.
I can't think of an E. Eric Morecambe. No, I don't. that was fun.
Let's face
it.
Yeah. I lost that one. We spoke too much about the Luton anyway. It's fine. Short.
Yeah. Right. So let's look ahead to our next games, and we'll get an update from Phil with a smug Phil with the Sluga 6.
Sluga 6. Sluga 6.
So, ladies and gentlemen, the time has come. It has finally arrived that the master of the Sluga 6 has arisen to the top.
I don't know how you've done it, mate. Congratulations.
I've come from a mile behind and had a worldy week, so I got the Luton score spot on to score double points, 6 points. I managed to predict that Leeds would win 4-0. Managed to predict that Sunderland would win 2-1. So I got a fair few bang on the nose. So I got a 13-point haul and have gone from 4th place, which was high. That was lofty for me in the first place to be 4th, to rise all the way to the top. So it's been a very, very good week. I enjoyed myself. I've enjoyed myself this week, finally. Wedge stepped in for Beefy. We'll be continuing to step in for Beefy with regards to the Sluga 6. Did really, really well, mate. You got 8 points in your first week, which is very, very good. Matt had a terrible week, which meant that we could all close in on him, which was wonderful. And Ollie, you did pretty well, as did the opposition podcast. So it's all very, very tight. So keep an eye on our social media at OK Football, and you'll see my wonderful graphic work, but of my screenshots on my mobile phone, where we'll look at the table. But moving forwards, next game is against Bristol City away. So that's going to be...
There's Bristol, then Swansea. It's the old south-west double bubble. And then back home
Christmas
for Norwich.
Well,
I mean, they've done us really dirty, haven't they? The fixtures have done us really dirty. 2 trips down the M4.
Fair play to everyone that's going to Bristol
absolutely.
on Boxing Day, because that is a horrible journey down the M4, isn't it?
Yeah, and then to come back and do it again in a few days after. It's
every
horrible.
single person that's going, fair play.
Big props.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So Bristol City. That'll be a tough one over at Ashton Gate. So and it's away. So
they score
I think
goals.
They score
but they
goals.
concede goals. They have a big goal difference of 0.
Yeah. Better than -13.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a proper toughie, and it's just another situation where it's away from home. I'd just take a point at each one. If I could scrape a point against both of those two, I'd take it in a
heartbeat.
heartbeat.
I'd take 1 point out of both of them. If we get a point against Bristol City first, I could probably suffer another loss against Swansea. But we can't come away from Bristol City losing. We need some sort of positive result.
Imagine the elation on Boxing Day if we win. It would be.
I'll take a draw.
It would be proper elation though, because nobody is expecting it. I would argue. No one's expecting it.
Do you remember last Boxing Day where Sheffield United pretty much battered us, but
exactly.
we won with the
double
two
deflections.
Sweaty, two sweaty own goals.
Yeah.
Can happen.
I remember sitting on the couch with my nan, watching it on my phone, going absolutely nuts and scaring the living daylights out of her because I was jumping on that. If that happened again,
I was in a villa in Bali, but same thing.
I think I'll stay away from my nan on Boxing Day this year because of bless her heart. She's getting on. Bless her. I don't want to give her a heart attack. But wouldn't that be great? Because no one's expecting it. On a serious note, nobody is particularly seeing any signs of our play, meaning that there's any real hope of something stopping with our away form.
But we need it to stop now. Stop the rot so we can actually, not shoot up the table, but so essentially we don't just keep losing games away from home.
We need to stop the rot big time. And like I say, January is going to be important for us. I hope we get some business done early because we need it. They've said that they're going to do some business, so let's get it done early. Set up and, like I say, let's face it, we need 7 more wins and then a couple of draws chucked in there to get to 50 and then just relax a little bit. The problem is I messaged you yesterday, didn't I, Ollie, about the fact that whenever we win, the teams below us seem to do all right. I know that there was a couple. I know Oxford took a battering, but Hull won, Pompey won, Plymouth got a draw against Borough. There's some good results.
Well, we'll talk about all those in Champ Chat.
But in terms of the Luton context, it's one of those things where you're like, give us a break, you know what I mean? Like, we're trying our hardest, and when we win, other people seem to win as well.
That's why it's important.
Exactly.
It's important that we grind out those wins.
You look at, 7 wins over the course of the season, which is more than any teams below us and more than a couple of teams above us. It's just we're not managing to pick up a point here and there.
Yeah, we lose a lot.
There are more losses than, I think we're tied with Plymouth and Hull with the
more
most losses.
wins than some of the teams.
Yeah.
Like chasing the playoffs. Though.
But more, exactly.
Yeah.
Like West
It's
Brom.
literally half
I think
our
we've got
game.
the same wins
Yeah.
as
I think it's
West
7
Brom,
wins,
and
4
they've got
draws,
7.
and 11 losses.
Yeah, don't draw many.
No.
Yeah.
Which we need to start doing, especially away.
Yeah,
from
turn those
home,
losses into draws, and we'll see where we're at with that, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I guess it's just a case of keep an eye out for our previews. Our opposition previews. Like and
they'll
subscribe.
keep predicting, tight games. Won't
They will.
They
They will.
Yeah, they're mugs.
Yeah, Ryan, you mug.
Don't know if he'll watch that. He'll probably be messaging you about that.
Clip that and I'll send it to him. With a picture of me eating a Norm's or a Kenny Henny and saying you made the wrong choice.
I've never seen someone so distraught. Like, it's like his face.
Poor
like when because I turned to him and I said, we're gonna win now. Like as soon as we pulled it to 1-1, I said we're gonna win. And he was like, nah, you're not. And then came 2-1.
90 seconds later.
Couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
La Bosch. Couldn't believe it. But that's us done for this week, and we won't be back next week here in the world famous Bricklayers Arms. Like if you're down in Luton looking for somewhere to watch a game, come on down. They got great ales on tap.
Even just a little Christmas pint, Christmas
Yeah.
Eve or something.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
don't know. I think they might be open on Christmas Day, just briefly.
Yeah.
One of the best things I do with my dad is go for a little drinky poo on Christmas Day.
Nice.
It's wonderful, yeah. It's a nice one. But as always, a big thank you to our audio partners, Black Star Amplification and Carry On, for supporting us through 2024. And, why not cap off 2024 with a little treat? Go down to Amersham, to the record shop, and treat yourself to some vinyl.
Spend as much as I did yesterday. I just dropped 270 quid
Oh, there you go.
Merry Christmas to me.
Be listening to Wham on full volume, won't you, over Christmas?
He's hoping for Harry Cornick.
On that note, let's wrap.
But yeah, that's us done for this year. Like, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Merry Kwanzaa, all of that. There might be some other.
Doesn't he play centre back for Liverpool?
Ho, ho, ho. As always, come on, you hatters.
Come on,
Come on,
lad.
Hatters.